Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about the women who are reshaping our world. Coming up, we hit the road with a woman who's campaigning to become Afghanistan's first female vice president. And the right to be a mother, how a disabled young woman has spoken out about her forced sterilisation. And we head to the Ivory Coast, where how you wear your hair is becoming a statement of pride. But first, Habiba Sarabi has already made history in Afghanistan when she became the first female governor back in 2005. 9 years on, she's set her sights even higher and is campaigning to become the country's vice president in next month's elections. But it's a tough road ahead in a society where women's rights are constantly under threat.
She's become the symbol of women's liberation across the country. A two-time minister and former governor of Bamiyan province for 8 years, Habiba Sarabi is one of the most experienced female politicians in Afghanistan. In a few weeks, she could be the country's first female vice president if Zalmay Rasool, the presidential candidate she has teamed with, wins. Today she's out and about campaigning at this school. Most of the students here are from the Hazara ethnic community, who have long been more favourable to women's rights.
You're all management students then?
Yes, I'm doing my bachelor's degree here.
I'm very happy to meet you in person.
Women shouldn't be silent in any situation. You should always have a voice. If you can, speak up. Don't rely on men to speak on your behalf.
Habiba promises to address gender discrimination if elected. She also plans to include 5 female members in the cabinet.
I want Afghan women involved in politics so that they can fight for their rights.
I don't think that every Afghan woman will vote for me because some support the Islamists and are under the influence of conservatives. But I hope that at least half of all Afghan women will vote for me.
Her performance in Bamiyan province has already earned her praise. There she introduced a public park and ensured local women were employed to take care of it.
The salary we get is ours to keep. We're more independent. It helps us live how we choose to. Before we had no money. We always had to ask our men for cash.
The park is located in the most beautiful part of the country, but it has not been profitable, especially in light of current security issues. Nevertheless, Habiba's tenure in office brought unprecedented freedom for women in this region, unlike other parts of the country dominated by conservative Islamists. For other female politicians in Afghanistan, like Fawzia Kufi, the story is quite different. Kufi is a member of parliament who often receives death threats from the Taliban. She's not running for president, but predicts a dark future for Afghanistan's women.
In general, the idea of negotiation and reconciliation with the Taliban involves a sacrifice of women's rights. It will limit the presence of women in politics. Already with the withdrawal of foreign troops, women's participation looks difficult.
Over the last 4 years, the Afghan parliament has continuously refused to pass a law criminalising violence against women, something Habiba plans to fight for if elected.
We know that most of Parliament is in the hands of radicals. There's a real divide on the question of this law on violence. My goal is to get lobbyists to negotiate with the radicals to show that Islam doesn't allow this.
If Habiba and her team are defeated, it'll be bad news for Afghan women. The electoral field is full of Islamists and warlords who are unlikely to address women's issues at all.
The desire to be a mother is viewed as a natural right, but it's not the case for many disabled women in the developing world, where to begin with, disability is seen as a taboo. As a result, thousands worldwide are subjected to involuntary sterilisation, such as Hunter Soafa from Madagascar.
Hunter is 34 years old. She works in a garment factory. In spite of her disability, she has no difficulty doing her job. Her life is, in all respects, normal, except that she has been sterilized. She underwent surgery 8 years ago after the birth of her first child.
A woman like me who is disabled, in a wheelchair and pregnant was a problem for my family. When I went into labor, I had to have a cesarean. They gave me anesthesia, and while I was unconscious, the surgeon tied my tubes. He asked my mother for permission, and she said yes.
Hanta's mother says she agreed to the operation to protect her daughter. According to the doctors, if Hanta had a second baby, she might die in childbirth. Her mother had to make the decision. There was no way she could know that a few days later, Hanta's baby would die.
They told me that Hanta would still be able to have a relationship in the future, but that there was a physical problem. And because of this condition, if she became pregnant again, she wouldn't survive the general anesthesia. I was so upset that I just said yes, especially since Hanta had just had the baby.
Hanta's situation is not unique. In Madagascar, a mother with a disability is taboo. Many pregnant women with disabilities are pressured by their families into having abortions. At this Center for the Disabled, opinions are divided as to whether or not a disabled woman should be allowed to have children.
Hanta's parents have always taken care of her and know her limits. She is unable to live on her own. If she had a baby, she wouldn't be able to take care of it by herself. They would have to hire someone. The attitude of Hanta's mother is wrong. After all, her daughter is a human being.
Hanta has resigned herself to never having a child. Yet how she wishes that she had been allowed to make that decision herself.
And finally, to the West African nation of Ivory Coast, where an increasing number of women have decided to ditch the straighteners and chemicals when it comes to styling their hair. Cornrows, dreadlocks and afros, whatever your fancy, natural hair is now enjoying a resurgence as more and more choose to rock it with their curls out.
Going back to their roots. Against relaxing, perming or straightening their hair, these Ivory Coast women are all about the natural, and they're encouraging others to do the same.
Society imposes these standards. A modern woman is portrayed with long or short, straight hair, but never with afro hair. There's an identity issue here.
Mariam is one of the founders of an association called Nappies from Babi. Nappy stands for natural and happy, while Babi is what locals have nicknamed their city, Abidjan. Many women here straighten their hair and some even bleach their skin, all in the name of beauty. But the Nappy Babi movement is determined to put an end to the trend.
When people see natural hair here, they look at you like you're an outcast, as if there was something wrong with your hair. It should be normal to have natural hair. People are not used to seeing hair like that. They want to touch all the time. They say, but it is your hair. This can't be real. Because they just don't know any better. It's just ignorance.
More than 2,000 people have joined Nappies from Babi's Facebook page, and every 2 months the group holds face-to-face meetings. The sessions are an opportunity to share advice and swap styling tips.
Some people think there isn't a product for our sort of hair, that it's a hassle to maintain. When I explain that I only use shea butter, a mixture of shea butter, coconut oil, jojoba oil, and then I put it in my hair to moisturise it, and that's all. They ask me, but are you sure? That's the secret. Yeah.
And it's not just women the movement appeals to. Men are also seeing the benefits.
Everybody used to tell me that only girls could have long hair, that it's not normal for men to wear long hair. But I've always had a strong personality and I don't care what people think.
More and more women in Ivory Coast and around the world are ditching their wigs and weaves in favour of more natural looks. For some, it's because upkeep is cheaper and easier. For others, their coif is an extension of their identity, and a little bit of volume goes a long way.
It certainly does. And that's it for now. If you'd like to comment on what you've just seen, please head to our Facebook page, France24/the51%, or do send us a tweet at _51%. Thanks for your feedback so far, and do keep those comments coming in. Until our next program, bye for now.